Thought I'd do a late night video for before I shut it down for a few hours. I had my evening nap, and then I'm gonna get some rest for a few hours before I have to get up and go to work. All right, so they released a full-fledged video of Tyreek Hill and what happened with Tyreek Hill. And after seeing the video in this entirely, my opinion hasn't changed one iota. There was no reason for him to get did what was done to him, for him to get attacked because the police feelings was hurt because quote unquote Tyreek Hill, you know, mouthed off to him. And I saw Stephen A. Smith doing what he does best, Sam Bourne it up and a few other people. And I don't want to hear this stuff about all that could have been avoided. First of all, you can roll up your windows. He already said, give me my ticket so I can go. So he's already admitting, okay, to guilt. So why didn't the police just give him his ticket so he can go? And he could roll up his windows. I've been pulled over by the police. Where does it say you have to keep your windows down? So he had every right to roll up his window. He had every right to roll up his window. What was wrong with him rolling up his window, waiting for the officer to write the citation? And the officer's name, I think, is Danny Torres. He's Hispanic. And that accent was pretty deep. You would think that's kind of funny that he's working in law enforcement with an accent that deep. Kind of makes you wonder, if is there something to it? Kind of make you wonder. Now, I'm going to get to what other people have said, in regards to, the Ferrari and all that kind of stuff and him driving a fancy car, and that couldn't have been the reason. I heard what Kwame Brown said, and I couldn't disagree with Kwame Brown even more. I couldn't not disagree with him. I could not further disagree with anything he said in regards. Kwame Brown was completely wrong. His assessment was completely wrong. Okay. I know people are mad at Kwame Brown or whatever the case may be. He's entitled to his opinion, but I disagree with him. To sit up there and say that him having a fancy car is just routine in Florida and people rent those kind of cars all the time. Well, here's the thing. It's not about the car. It's about who's in the car. If that's the case, then why is it that so many brothers, a lot of times when they get spotted driving a Mercedes or a BMW or a Maserati or something like that, the police will still try to find a way to pull them over in search of drugs, thinking that they're a drug dealer or something. Mercedes Benz are common cars. There's a YouTube video that I saw maybe it was a while ago, and I did a video about it. The police tried to lie on the dude and say that the car that he bought was used in a crime. And the dude made the police officer look so stupid. He said, dude, I just literally pulled off the lot. He had literally just bought the car and the police pulled him over. So let's not try to pretend racial profiling doesn't exist and that people don't be envious of black men when they see them driving fancy cars. You have the right to roll up your window until the police runs a check on your ID. You have the right to roll up your windows. So don't roll up your windows. Get out of here, man. You can't talk to a person that done been through that so many times. There's a video of me that I did a stream where I got pulled over by the police and they tried to lie and say I was speeding and I cussed the police out. I was coming from covering a Jose Ramirez fight and I went off on the police. And they let me go with no ticket. told me to get out of here. So don't sit up here and say, "Oh, well, Stephen A. Smith was doing what he was doing, pandering." Because now they own his black ass now since he signed that new contract. So he gonna pander. At the end of the day, if you are that particular job, you supposed to have thick skin. If you are in law enforcement, you supposed to have thick skin because you are a servant of the community, the public. So of course people gonna call you names. But this further proves why there is an issue between blacks in the police department. A long-standing issue. Now the officer Danny Torres, he should be fired. He's been placed on administrative leave. He should be fired. There was no reason to rough him up like that. Oh, you mouthed off to the police. You mouthed off to the police. You mouthed off to the police. You can't talk to the police. And no, they didn't have probable cause to pull him out of his car. You have to have a warrant. There was no reason to pull him out of the car. That police was just mad because his feelings was hurt. So he wanted to, so his overzealousness may have cost him his job, and it should cost him his job. We can't have them type of people walking around with badges and guns. That's that damn emotional. Once he said, okay, he admitted guilt. Okay, just give him his ticket and let him go. What you got to get him out of the car for? What do you got to rough him up over? And then you handcuffed this teammate. So that was the double whammy. That was the double whammy. As citizens, we have a right to monitor police activities. As long as we don't directly interfere with the police running their temporary investigation, we have every right to monitor the activities. We have the right to ask questions. And for them to say, oh, we handcuffed them because we fear, that's complete and utter bullshit. Stop the cap. Stop the cap. When he said, give me my ticket and let me go. Give him his ticket. Okay, he's already admitted to. So because he wasn't like, yes, sir, officer. Yes, sir, officer. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. First of all, there are YouTube videos where you got people saying worse stuff than what Tyreek Hill said to the police. You got dudes literally that are going confronting the police, filming them. But of course, in all likelihood, a lot of them are not black. So, the police, they have this thing where they feel like the black man is the bottom of the totem pole. So he's supposed to just sit up there and instantly bow down to law enforcement. There are so many videos of people that film police activities. They will walk up to the police and literally cuss them out. And if the police say, hey, what are you doing here? I'm just monitoring, just filming activities. And they will, and police will say, well, you can't be here. And the dude will literally tell the policeman, fuck off, cuss them out. I done seen, there's videos like that all over YouTube. All over YouTube. I've seen them where these dudes are actually confronting the police, not the other way around. And they don't get the treatment that Tyreek Hill get or gotten. So don't play with me. Don't come on here playing these games with me. I've been doing this way too long. I know how it works. They violated his Fourth Amendment rights. You just can't snatch somebody out of the car because they mouthing off to you. That just goes to show you that dude shouldn't be on the streets and he shouldn't be a policeman. When he said, okay, just give me my ticket. Okay. Give me your license, registration. All right, here you go. Sign this. Boom. Okay. But all this, oh, well, he's not without fault. And like, man, where do it say? There is no law that say we got to sit up here and be polite and nice to the police. And that's the problem right there. The police are too emotional. That police was way too emotional. He was bothered. He got triggered. If he get triggered that easy, once again, he shouldn't have a badge and a gun. He shouldn't be in law enforcement. He need to go do something else. Maybe he need to go be a truck driver where he work by himself. Maybe he need to work in a warehouse as an order selector or something. I don't know, because he's not fit to be a policeman. To get that triggered. Oh, roll up, roll down your windows. He doesn't have to roll down his windows. He doesn't have to roll down his windows. You already saw who he was. You got to look at him. You already got to look at him. You take his license, take his registration, run a check. Okay. If he doesn't have a warrant, you give him his ticket, give him his citation, and sometimes the police will let you off with a warning, depending on how good of a mood they in. You know how good of a mood they in. They'll say, "All right, man, I'm gonna let you off with a warning." Policeman caught me on my phone. He pulled me over. You know, he asked my name. I gave him my name. He didn't even run my license. He said, "Hey, listen, just stay off the phone. I'm gonna give you this citation. This is not a real citation, but it's like a warning." It didn't even you know what I'm saying? He gave me a warning ticket. He didn't even give me an actual ticket. All right, cool. So like I said, so don't sit up there and say, "Oh, well, he shouldn't have been mouthing off. He shouldn't have came at the police." Man, there's a video of a dude that the police pulled over who literally pulled a gun out on them and drove off in their face in Ohio. So don't sit up there and try don't sit up there and try to justify what happened to Tyreek Hill. Fuck out of here. Well, he don't need to be a cop. And like I said, that accent was real deep. They need to make sure that he got his they need to make sure he legit. That accent was pretty deep for a police officer. Like, dang, dude, how long you been in this country? When did you get here? About like what, 4 years ago? Yeah, I said it. I don't care if nobody get mad. And that, hey, you gonna see that on a regular basis. Because that's exactly what Kamala Harris want to do. She can sit up and lie about the border all she want. That's exactly why they bringing them in here. So just imagine giving somebody like that a badge and a gun. And we all know who they're going to be extra aggressive to. That's the thing. He was aggressive himself. He should have just laughed it off. These police too damn. Some of these police are just too emotional. Oh, don't roll up your windows. I know the law. You got a right to roll up. You got a right to roll up your windows. Who said, "Oh, you got to keep your windows down"? Every time I've been pulled over. I've rolled up my windows. There is no law that says you have to keep your windows down. So anybody says that that's mandatory that you. So what, he said, keep your windows down. He doesn't have to keep his windows rolled down. If he wants to roll up his windows while the police is running his name and his license and his registration. He has every right to. So don't sit up there talking about what he should have kept. He should have, man. Like, come on, man. You don't have to do none of that stuff. I want to know more about this officer's background. Way too aggressive, and he like 20, and he like 27 years old. So he couldn't have been on the job no longer than 5 years. Maybe a little bit, maybe 6 at the most. Because you can join the police, you can sign up for the police academy at 20 and a half. Because I think the academy is 6 months. I think the academy is like 6 months. So, from my knowledge, from what I remember, you can sign up for the academy at around 20 and a half. So if he became an officer at age 21 and they said he was 27, so he probably been a cop for around 6 years. But at the end of the day, there was no cause for that. And like I said before, Kwame Brown was dead wrong. His assessment was completely off base. And I know people was mad at Kwame Brown, and he's entitled to his opinion, but I disagree with him, just like I disagree with him on his assessment of Ja Morant. I definitely disagree with him on what happened with Tyreek Hill. So what, you can rent exotic sports cars. That still doesn't mean that you you're exempt from, you know what I'm saying? You're exempt from being pulled over by the police because they don't know you. A lot of times the police assume stuff. The biggest problem with law enforcement when it comes to black men, pertaining to black men, is assumption. That is their biggest problem, is assuming something. They assume too much. I saw the video in its entirety. The beginning was all, in my opinion, did not change one bit. So when I heard some people trying to say, well, he shouldn't have, like, man, so what? So what, he mouth off to the police? So fucking what? So what? So what, he said, give me my ticket so I can go. So because this officer felt like he should have bowed down to him, and he wasn't saying, well, officer, I don't know what came of me. He said, give me my ticket so I could go. Okay, end of story. It's like this. Nobody don't want to hear no speech. If you in a rush, just give me, like, okay, I've already admitted that I've done wrong. Okay. If it turns out I don't have no warrant, just give me my ticket. I don't want to hear no Joe Clark lean on me 3-minute speech about the laws of speech. Like, give me my shit so I can leave. And that's real talk. I'm tired of people acting like you have to talk a certain way and you got to watch your tone. It's funny. Nobody watch their tone, how they address black people. I think that the thing that bothered me the most was him telling him that he had to keep his windows down. You do not have to keep your windows rolled down. For the most part, the officer prefer to you, to be honest with you, they prefer to you to have your windows up. Because if you have your windows down, a lot of times they think you may be reaching for something. I know what I'm talking about, man. I know what I'm talking about. I've been doing this for a minute. But to get that triggered, that officer got triggered from him saying, "Don't bang on my windows." You know what he should have did after that? He should have said, "Let me get your license and registration." But technically, the police are supposed to tell you when they walk up to you. They actually are supposed to tell you why they pulled you over. But sometimes they just want to get to the point and say license and registration. But they actually are supposed to tell you, because I talk to cops. They actually are supposed to say, "Sir, I pulled you over because you know I clocked you going 85 miles per hour and the speed limit is 70 miles per hour. So that's why I stopped you. Now, can I see your license and registration, please?" Then you give it to them, whatever it take, anywhere from 2 to 3 minutes. Run your name. Oh, okay, nothing, nothing, nothing. Okay. Then another 3 minutes, they fill out the ticket, give it to you, you sign it. That's it. That's all. And sometimes people don't want to hear no Joe Clark lean on me speed. Well, sir, you have to understand when you're speeding and dude, give me my damn ticket, dude. I don't want to hear that shit. Give it to me so I can bounce. I'm not saying that I did say that police officer wasn't racist. He as aggressive as he was, he might suffer from black black male envy. Just because, like, so when I heard Kwame Brown making that assessment, a lot of times these officers, when they see brothers, because they already have this vitriol and this contempt for black men anyway for various different reasons. So when he see a black man driving a you know $150,000 $200,000 car, and he drive whatever he drive, a lot of these officers like, damn. So they have been fixated, that they had this fixation with, like, oh, I'm gonna harass this dude. A lot of times, and I'm just gonna keep it 100. A lot of cops, I say out of 10 cops, a lot of cops went through some kind of psychological trauma when they were little. They were either bullied, they didn't get all the chicks, they had some kind of complex about something, they had some kind of phobia. So a lot of times they feel like they will join law enforcement to basically they can use their power to basically get even with people. They feel like they are authoritarian and stuff. So a lot of times they use that as a way, as means to call themselves trying to bully people. Now, don't get me wrong, all cops are not that way, but a lot of them, if you check their background, they didn't have some kind of issues growing up. So, what's the best way to lash out at the world? Oh, become law enforcement, because you are enforcing the law, but you have a little bit of authority, but then everything has a limitation. And the thing is, when you are an officer, a sworn officer, you are a peace officer technically, and your objective is to try to maintain peace, not cause chaos. That dude was supposed to be a peace officer. Now Tyreek Hill would have said, "Hey man, I got a gat. I'll beat you up and all that kind of stuff." That's different. Now we got a different scenario. But because he said, "Give me my ticket so I can go," and dude was feeling some kind of way. The dude was bothered and triggered, just like that officer that took out Sonia Massey, just because she said, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus." He got triggered by that. But I guess it's an excuse for that too. So I guess it. I guess it. I guess I guess that justifies him taking out his weapon, his service weapon, and taking her out. I didn't even see what he wrote. I didn't even see what he wrote. At the end of the day, trolls gonna come. Sometimes these trolls are actually people that are, people that are online. A lot of times they have what you call ghost accounts, and they'll come on the channel. They won't use their actual their actual handle. They'll have some ghost accounts, some troll accounts. So I'm not worried. I'm not worried about none of that. I've been doing this for far too long to let somebody, bother me like that. You know. So when I hear people making excuses and talking about, oh well, he shouldn't have came. Like I said, how come nobody ever says that when you see these dudes that go around just filming random police activities and they approach the police officer if they not doing their job and say, hey, you're not effing doing your job right. How come the police don't rough them up? There's several videos like that on this particular platform. Several people. And I watch those videos and I give them props. But when it comes to Tyreek Hill, I don't know where it is where people act like black men are supposed to like act like children when they meet officers and stuff. Oh, yes. I like I don't know what came over me and I sincerely apologize and all that kind of stuff. At the end of the day, Tyreek Hill got freedom of speech. In my opinion, ain't changed one bit. Ain't no reason for that officer to do what he did. He should be fired, and he should be fired. And I hope he gets fired. You can't have people like that walking around with a badge and a gun. Now I'm pretty sure there's some people that's on social media, that's on YouTube, completely trying to put this on Tyreek Hill. I know probably that Sambo nigga. I ain't even gonna say his name, but you know who I'm talking about. So I'm glad that Tyreek Hill, went on to playing the game and basically scored touchdown. And they kind of made, they trolled the PD that did it. So, Miami Dade is running an investigation, but they got to get them they got to get them dudes out of there. Especially the one that they placed on administrative leave, he should be fired. I'm pretty sure that I'm pretty sure his coworkers is going to flip on him. I guarantee you they going to throw him under the bus. Like I said before, I done went through this plenty of times with law enforcement. You don't have to roll down your windows. You don't have to keep them down. Because I hit a light bulb when I was talking about this, and I was like, wait a minute, most officers prefer to you to keep your windows up. They don't even really like for you to have they don't even like for you to have your windows down because a lot of times they get nervous because they think that you may be attempting to reach for a weapon. So that just further proves what I was saying, that officer, he just was just on some bull, you know. His ego was the problem. His ego was the problem, and he couldn't control his ego because he was thinking to himself, who is this black dude talking to me like this? All this stuff about get out the car and all this stuff. So fuck what Stephen A. Smith talked about. Well, if they tell you to get out, you don't have to get out your car. You don't have to get out the car. Just like when the police walk up to you and ask, can they see your identification? You do not have to give them your identification. If you are not accused of committing a crime, you do not have to identify yourself. If you get pulled over by the police, the person on the passenger side does not have to identify himself. He does not have to speak to the police. Y'all can look all this stuff up. It's available. Hey, what's up, Mark? Appreciate you, brother. Yeah, they was some that dude was a Hispanic, overzealous, possible suspect. You know what I'm saying? Racist. I know the law. I bet you Tyreek Hill if he file a lawsuit, I bet you he gonna win. I bet you money he gonna win. Uh, bro, don't come on here talking about politics. Don't bring that shit on my channel. I'm not talking about Kamala Harris. Don't disrespect my platform like that, dude. And I'm gonna ask you nice. I'm gonna ask you nice. I'm being nice. Don't bring that on my channel. I don't give a damn about Kamala Harris. We not talking about that stupid debate. I've been to Miami before. I was I haven't been there in a while. I came to Miami about roughly uh, maybe 20 maybe 2002, maybe 2000, 2002. I don't even worry about Jason Whitlock. Jason Whitlock is always gonna go against the grain. That's just what he does. Jason Whitlock wakes up in the morning figuring out a new way how he can coon. He likes doing that kind of stuff. Jason Whitlock is weak. He's weak. He's he's predictable. Of course, Jason Whitlock was going to blame Tyreek Hill. Of course he was. Did anybody not think? Did anybody not think that Jason Whitlock was gonna side? He never sides with the brothers. Just like he's sitting up here caping heavily for Caitlin Clark, just like Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith, what he said about Angel Reese, he took black people back like 40. No, he took black people back like about 80 years. He pretty much admitted that Angel Reese is getting harassed and getting her life threatened because basically she taunted a white woman. He pretty much said that in so many words. You know, Jason Whitlock is a super Sambo sellout. He literally hates being black. He really, like I said, Jason Whitlock really literally wakes up in the morning figuring out how he can basically be a handkerchief head in the Sambo. He's a fat white man with black skin. That's all Jason Whitlock is. When the incident first was made available, I was one of the people that broke the story. I already knew no matter what the case was going to be, Jason Whitlock was going to blame Tyreek Hill because he's predictable. Jason Whitlock, Jason Whitlock, that's just how he is. He's a paid man. And the thing is, he been doing this forever and it's never paid off for him. It's always backfired on him. It's always backfired on him. So I don't know why he continues to do this stuff. You just wish one day, maybe Jason Whitlock is gonna be on code. Maybe he gonna say something of significance. But no, he goes the other direction. There is no way you can justify Tyreek Hill getting roughed up like he did. And then that officer could have like messed up his knee. He had some kind of knee surgery. He could have messed up his knee, re-aggravated his knee. I mean, grabbing the dude by the neck and all that kind of stuff. That I'm sorry. There's no way you can justify that type of behavior. People have to understand these dudes are supposed to protect and serve. They are supposed to be called law enforcement. They are peace officers. They are supposed to keep the peace. You are held to a different set of standards. At the end of the day, you're gonna run across people that have mouths, but you're gonna have to show restraint, unprofessional at its finest. No, I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna say nothing about that pertaining to Jason Whitlock. If I was ever to run across Jason Whitlock, I probably would say something to him. I would ask to have a conversation. Well, Jason Whitlock came on Ticket TV's channel, Ticket TV. It was funny. He wouldn't even let. It was funny. He I don't even want Jason Whitlock on my platform. I don't even think I would talk to that dude because I don't think it would be a civil conversation. Because the first thing that would come out of my mouth would be like, dude, why are you such a coon? Like, dude, why are you always going against the grain? Listen, anybody that knows my channel, that been watching my channel, I hold black people accountable. I hold black men accountable. I hold white men accountable. I hold Hispanic man accountable. That's why I have the audience that I have. If you own some bullshit, I'm gonna call you out. I'm just not one of these dudes that just always give a black guy a pass no matter what. That's not me. It's not me. And my thing is, so what? He mouthed off to him. So what? So what? You supposed to be a professional. You are supposed to have thick skin when you are in law enforcement. That type of stuff shouldn't bother you. Oh, he mouthed off to me. He mouthed off to me. I didn't like how he was talking to me. Like, bro, this ain't the streets. This ain't the streets, dude. You can't be acting like you from the streets. And the officer came to the car aggressive, banging on the dude's window and stuff. Okay, when he said, "All right, man, I got to get to work. Give me my ticket so I can go." Okay, he's admitting guilt. He's admitting that he's admitting guilt. So what you should have did is you should have said, "All right, cool." But you want to have a pep talk with him. You talking about roll. Oh, roll your windows down. Oh, keep your windows rolled down. He doesn't have to keep his windows rolled down. I'm gonna say that again. He doesn't have to. Well, Stephen A. Smith ran from me. The video is on my channel when I tried to confront Stephen A. Smith for that buck dancing he was doing, and he ran. He took off. Everybody saw what he did. Everybody saw what he did. So, Stephen A. Smith showed who he really was. But it's cool though. No biggie. No biggie. He just showed me he ain't on that type of time. None of these dudes be on that type of time. Like, Roland Martin, all them dudes, they not tough. Roland Martin be sitting up here trying to talk crazy and insult people and stuff. Then soon as dude ran up on him, the dude was shook, was hot, had a woman like protected him. That's all you need to know about Roland Williams, man. Roland Martin. That's all you need to know about Roly Poly Martin. That's all you need to know. He didn't want that dude was spooked. He was shook. His eyes popped up like, oh my God. It's a lot different talking shit about somebody behind the computer than when somebody run up on you. Man changed his home. Why did Stephen A. Smith run from me? Because basically I wanted to confront him about the buck dancing he be doing. And I asked him, hey man, do you really believe that stuff you say? Then he ran off. So whatever, man. It's cool, Stephen A. It's cool. It's cool, man. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me. All right, you guys. I've been on here for 42 minutes. Just wanted to get a quick live. Appreciate you guys. I'm out.